So I missed this for off in the TypeScript actually. I had to include that for off in the future batches. I mean, I should have done with the HTML, sorry, JavaScript only. But yes, let us go and see that what the for off does. In the ES6 only, we have this for off loop for not off. .html. Okay, HTML head body script. So when I have an array where AR is equal to 10, 20, 30, let us take this as an array. To iterate the array, we have multiple ways, right? Normal for loop, and of course, we have something called for each, map, filter, reduce, all these things, as well as we have one more option called for in. So basically, for in is for iterating the iterators also. So I'll come back to that. What is iterator? That is an advanced topic. Maybe after completion of React only we will able to see that. But I just want to show you how for, sorry, not for in, for off can be used to iterate an array. Okay, let me show you how to do that. We can use a for, and inside the for parenthesis, we can make use of off. And on the right side of the off, you have to give the array name, and the left side of the off, you have to give the any variable. Okay, so now this for off will iterate this entire block for each and every value of the array. So this hello will be printed for 3 times. Let us see this output. So here hello got 3 times because we have in the array we have 3 elements. Imagine I have few more elements. So what will happen? This for off will iterate now for the 5 times because in the array we have 5 values. And every time it is iterating, we are going to get the value directly. So now when it is iterating for the first time, we get in the we directly have the value. What is the value here? 10. Right? Directly that 10. For the first time, we will get the 10. Second iteration, we will get 20. Third iteration, we will get 30. How about the for in? What about the for in? Can I use for in for the arrays? 100% you can use it. But the difference is in the for in, we don't get the value directly. We get the index. Let the in AR. So now if I say console.log of hello, of course, this for in also iterate the array for 5 times. Iterate this block for the 5 times. That is as it is with the like for off. And the second point is what do we have in the D? In the D, that is the variable what we have created. In the D, we have the index, not actually the value. So to get the value, you have to make use of AR of D. Only then you will get the value also. Of course, there is an advantage that here we get the index as well, but here we get only the value directly. We get the value directly. Okay. Is that clear? What is the difference between for in and for off? Syntaxes are same apart from the keyword, but in the for off we get directly the values, and in the for in we get the indexes in the V. Do others have any problem with the white screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is it clean? Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So this is how we can able to do this array. To handle or to iterate over array, we can able to use the for of to access the values, and this is how we can use the for in to access the values. That is one point I missed in the process. Okay, for in generally we use it for object iteration. For of we will generally use it for array iteration. That's over. Next, the next point is tuples. In the interview, they may ask you what exactly the tuples. Suppose you want to take an array of values, but in the array of values, you want to take first value as a string and the second value as a number or boolean or something like that. So in that situation, so you want only in that combination, not other combination. You want the the variable value should be in the same combination. So for in such kind of situations, we can make use of tuples. You can define a variable as a tuple so that that tuple will accept only the values in that order also. So let us create a tuple. Tuple dot. Okay. This is no. This is not ES6 property. This is TypeScript property. Let us do this tuple. So tuples dot ts. So I'm going to create a tuple now. So let my okay. A is A. I want in the A. I want if I declare it like this, automatically A will be created as any type. So in the A, I can assign Praveen and 34. Imagine like this. But the same A can also be assigned with different data type 45 comma Dasu. Okay. But I want these only two values, but the always first value should be a string and second value should be a number. So in that case, you have to define the A as a tuple like this, string comma number, so that when I am assigning A is equal to Praveen and 34, this tuple is accepted. This tuple is accepted, but this particular tuple is not accepted. Okay. So tuple is also an array kind, but it will be having limited numbers, limited values. Tuple only two, in fact, not multiple. Tuple, quadruple. There are multiple things you can do that, but let us understand the tuple where we will have two values in the variable, but those values can be defined in the sequence. Okay. Sequence in the sense first value should be a string and second value should be a number. If you have mentioned in that sequence, so A will be taken only with this kind of values, not other kind of values. Okay. So 45 also will be rejected. Why? A is defined as a tuple with first value as a string and the second value as a number. Okay. So now if you mention only the first value as always the string and second value as a number, now the value is accepted and running. Okay. Right. So now what happens? Chapan.
तो ये जो इस हम नंबर और लाइक इसमें लिखा है प्रवीण के आगे हम 3 4 भी लिख दें स्ट्रिंग के अंदर, तो एक्सेप्ट होगा या नहीं होगा वो?
Which one?
ए इज इक्वल्स टू ये आपने लिखा है ना ए स्ट्रिंग नंबर, अगर हम स्ट्रिंग के अंदर ही नंबर लिखते हैं तो
इधर
हाँ इधर
प्रवीण के इधर हाँ एक्सेप्ट होगा ना. This is no more a value. This is a string value. So it will not be a problem. Okay. Yeah. Yesterday I discussed that point also. Check it out once again. Yesterday's video.
yes.
Okay. So this is about your tuples. So how do you access the tuples? For example, console.log of a of 0 gives you first value. What is that answer we are going to get? That's not. Okay, because a got overwritten, right? Okay. And a of 1 will give you 33 and a of 2 will give you error. So that tuple type string number of length 2 has no element at the index 3. Even if you try to insert the values, it will throw you an error. So string number is not assignable to string number. Okay, target should be only two values. You can make it like this. So this will throw you an error. This will come under tuples. Okay. Next, there is a concept called enum. Enum, enumerated data types or enumerated data type basically. How do you create enum and when we generally use this kind of enums? Okay. Recently, we are creating a web application for our academy or institute. So while we are creating in academy software for that for our institutes, I want to assign student with the available courses only. Okay. So those all courses should be fixed. That means whenever somebody assigned with a course, when some student assigned with a course, that course should not be a string. Because if I give them a string, what will be the problem? They will enter any kind of course they write. So it is highly difficult to identify what actual course they are looking for. So what I did is here I have created like this enums.ts. First of all, I have created enum with the name called course. Enum course open bracket close bracket, and here I have mentioned as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Angular, Node. So this is what I have mentioned there. Okay. So now see this. So when I'm assigning a value to the, for example, I have created a variable where, okay, sorry, where a is a should or else student course. If I declare it like this, student course can be assigned with any string or any number or anything. Point number one. So how do you define the student course? If you define the student course as a string, yes, you can happily assign HTML, no issues, but you can also assign DevOps if you want. But unfortunately, okay, DevOps is there, but not in the list. Okay, suppose we don't have the course called data science. So student course should not be assigned with this value. But how can I make it? If I make it as a string, any valid string can be assigned to this. How can I make the student course variable should have only these set of values, not other set of values, so that I can define the student course as, I'll tell you, student course as course. So that what I can do is I can define it as course dot HTML. Okay, so only I can have only these courses HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Angular, and Node. No other courses are possible to assign. Even if you tried, student course is equal to DevOps, it will throw the error. Okay. So it will be easier for the students to maintain whether I have selected the right course or not. So we can define our own data type like course. In that, we can fix only these values are allowed under that data type values. Okay. So this kind of strict mechanisms will also be possible. So in the application, in any application, whether it is Angular application or React application, constants, that is global constants, I'm talking about global constants always defined as enums. Wherever you have some global constant, generally we go for defining those enums as a global constants. Okay, point number one. Now, while I'm displaying the values, for example, console.log student course, what it will be giving you there? Let us save and run the code. tsc enums.ts and then node space enums, then you got 0. Why this is giving me 0? What is the reason we got that as 0? Because I have assigned course.html, right? Suppose, imagine I have course.angular. So what is the output I'm going to get? Compile and run the code. Now I got 4. You can see here as 4. What is the reason we got it as a 4? The reason is the Angular value is 4. So HTML starts with 0, CSS starts with CSS with 1, JS with 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. If you assign any different value like 11001, let us take it like this. So HTML course value will be 10001. Then obviously CSS value will be 10002. And how about the Node.js? 10006. Okay. So other course numbers will be with the following numbers of 10001. Okay. Then is it possible to give any default value to this? Like it's the number is okay, but how about the string? Strings are not happening over here. Is it possible to give it like this? No way. So you can give a number, a constant number to that every course, and those constant numbers can be reused. Okay. This is how you can able to give a unique value to the enum values, unique number to enum values. Okay. And second thing, suppose in the student course I have only 4, but while I'm printing the output, I want to print the course name, not the value. So how can I do that part? So that can be done by console.log of course of student course. So what does it give you now? See here, course of student course, because student course is having 4, right? So it is giving you Angular. Okay. Suppose in where yes is of type course and it is having the value called course.js. Imagine. So while we are assigning the value in the S, what we are going to get? The index value. That means the number what it is assigned to JS will be there. Okay. Now HTML value is 1, sorry, 0, CSS is 1, JS is 2. So in the output, what we are going to get? For JS, whatever there in the S, what did we have in the S? It is 2. So how to get the actual technology out of it, but actual course out of it? That is possible by course of S. So it will give you that particular course name. Okay. Now we got the JS. So this is how we can able to define the enumerated courses, enumerated data types, and we can able to display that. Okay. Some people have a question like, is it possible to run a for in? Okay, for in of course and where C. So now if I say console.log of C, it will able to display all the courses in the all the values, in fact, whatever the constants we have defined, all of them will be displayed in the output. Okay. So along with the value, if you want the index also, how can you get the index? What is your answer? I want HTML and 0, CSS 1. How can you get the value of each particular item? Okay, very simple. Course
of C.
Course of C. Okay, let us see. So course of C is giving you 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you directly give the course name, it will give you the index. If you give the index, it will give you the course name, vice versa. So with for in, even enumerated data type can be actually iterated. So those people who can understand the philosophy and the reasons behind the technology, they may have a sense out of it. Okay, try to understand my point. Basically, your object literals are enumerated data types. They have defined as an enumerated data type. Am I audible, guys? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they are actually objects are nothing but enumerated data types. Okay, with the values. Okay, so it is not possible. Yeah, this is not possible. Anyways, leave it. But objects are enumerated data types. Okay. Okay, this is about enums. And then how about the any type? How about the any? Okay. So if you don't know what kind of data we are going to get into any in a variable, you can declare that data type of the variable as any. That is okay. But the problem is, as a developer, we should not do that. Okay, we should minimize that particular problems. Of course, in the learning time, or while we are creating a prototype, or while we are in the basic development phase, any is okay, but production ready application should not go for any. So if you define a variable with any, so that can be taken a is equal to 100 is also okay. Not A, let me have A R B, something like that. So if I say ARB is equal to, why we are getting the error, I will let you know. Wait a minute. ARB is equal to 129 is possible. ARB is equal to Praveen is possible. ARB is equal to true is possible. ARB is equal to an array is possible. ARB is equal to an object is also possible. So any data we can insert into it. That is potentially dangerous. So let us not do that. Only if you want to come out of some work for temporary purpose, go with any, but otherwise you better define the data type properly. Okay. In the compiler options, if you mention no implicit any is true, then what happens is you can't even put any in any place. Okay. So that has to be done in the tsconfig.json. Don't worry about much about it, but see that. Next thing is, see now we are entered into type assertions. Type assertion. Okay. Why these types are so important? Suppose if you have mentioned some data type as any, let us see this. Let us see this. I will remove this now. X1 is equal, X1 is of type any, and I have assigned X1 is equal to Praveen. So I want to store the length of the Praveen in a variable. So I am declaring that variable L as a number because length should be stored in a number, right? So if I try to say that L is equal to X1 dot length, right now there is no problem. You are not getting any issue in the L. But if you observe properly, when I say X1 dot, I'm not getting any help because the length property is not shown, whether it is a property or it is a function call or it is len or it is length or it is a function call. Nothing, no help is coming out of that. Okay. But if you mention this x1 as a string, a beautiful what is it? Help will come here. So as soon as I press the length, you are able to see L with x1 dot length. So this kind of help we will be getting only if you define a variable as its data type. Okay, but still, let us say I defined it as any. Still, I know that x1 is a string. So how to get that methods, suggestions? So for that, temporarily, I had to convert that x1 as a string. So I will do like this, x1 as string. And then dot length. So for the time being, what happened? This x1 is converted as a string and I'm able to I'm able to get that help from after pressing the dot. You can see this length here and you can apply it to it. This is what this temporary changing of the type is called as type assertion. Is that clear? This type assertion is also having one more syntax. So beside the AS operator there, another syntax to write type assertion using angle brackets. So yes, angle brackets mechanism is also possible. So let us take where L2 is also equal is a number, then L2 is equal to See how I am writing. In the brackets, I'll use angular brackets, string. In the angular brackets, I'm using string space x1. Then this x1 is temporarily converted into a string. Then if you apply dot, the help is getting. So some people will use this kind of type assertion, some people will use this kind of type assertions. That is your user choice. Don't worry about it. Okay. Mm. So one more place where yesterday I already discussed, especially when we are getting the data from input boxes. Temporarily, we have to convert that input box into a input in that input element into a HTML input element. Okay. So at that time, also type assertions can be possible with both as well as square bracket notation. So these are all will be used in your Angular application. So you had to be ready for those syntaxes because frequently, very frequently, you are going to see those all syntaxes. Okay, don't worry about it. Refer the video once again when you are working over there and start using it. Right? Next, we have something called union data type. What the hell is this? Sometimes we don't, I mean, we know the value can be either a string or null, especially either a string or undefined. Sometimes it may be like that. So, how can I make a variable with either of the two data types? Is it really possible? 100% possible by using union types. How to do that? So here I can take up something like where C1 is of either a number or a string. So this is how we have to use this operator is for or symbol. Okay. For more clarity, you may use these brackets so that it will be clear. Okay, for your benefit only. Otherwise, it will be little clumsy. So C1 can be assigned with either a number or C1 can be assigned with either a string. Any of these two things are fine, but C1 cannot be assigned with a boolean. This is not possible. C1 cannot be assigned with undefined. Or C1 cannot be defined with null. So these are all going to be errors. So you can assign only either a number or string. If you want to have the undefined, that is okay, but now you cannot apply the string here. Undefined is okay. Okay. C1 is equal to undefined is also. Sometimes you definitely need this union type, especially with the undefined. Okay. Right. Yes, definitely you need this because the data types sometimes that particular value will not be there in the that value will be coming empty. Okay, especially as undefined. So in that time, you definitely need to use this union. Is it only necessary to be two values or three values? Guys, 1 minute. Huh? Guys, 1 minute. Okay, guys. So this is how union type works. After that, returning void. Okay. So sometimes what do we do is we have to define a function, right? So when we are defining the function, if the function returns a number, we should mention the return type as number. If the function doesn't return anything, you should define it as void. If it is not returning anything, you should define it as what? As void. Okay. So the meaning is if I define a function add of 10, okay, a comma b, return a plus b. Imagine this is the case. So now, if I take int a is equal to add of, sorry, not int a. Come on, man. Where a is a number, add of 5 comma 3 gives you an error because you have not mentioned a is a, sorry, a3, let us take. You don't have any error. Absolutely, you don't have any error. Very good also. But if I say where S2 is a string and you are trying to assign the result of 13 and 59 addition into S2, it is also accepting. Unfortunately, this is wrong because if you see what will be there in the S2, that will be a string data type. Okay. So if you are trying to use S2 in other place, it will throw you error. So to resolve that, you have to define what type of return type the function will be providing so that it is returning a number. It is returning a, if you say it returns a number, then you cannot assign this result into a string. You can avoid this kind of errors. Okay. Is that clear? ఇది కూడా అక్కడ పెట్టేసి A3 as a number. Okay. Others cannot be used so that errors will happen. ఒక్క నిమిషం. Okay. This is about return type. So now there is one more way you can actually use is never. It is little new. Type never is used for values that never occur. For example, a function that always throw an error has the return type never. Okay. So it is not void. It is never, especially when you are using a function which throws error. Sir, throwing error is also possible. Yes. Some functions will be returned to throw the errors only. Okay. When this kind of things happen is while you are validating the forms, try to listen. Freshers, it is not easy for you to follow these all points. Okay. So where we are? Never, sir. Especially, I'm sure you may not understand the depth of it. Okay. May not understand in the sense you have not seen any application, right? So it will be difficult only. But I'm trying my best to give you that analogy. The point is, when you are developing an application with a form, some forms should throw error when you have given a wrong input. So that error throwing is also a part that is not the error which is thrown by the system. That error should be thrown by the user. I mean, sorry, the application itself. Application itself throws the error. Throws the error. You got it? So sometimes you need to throw the error. That's more important. Okay. In such situations, whenever you are writing the function, you should use the return type as never. Okay. So if you have seen such kind of things, don't get worried too much. Be calm. Okay. Yeah. So yes, these are all compilation. What is it? Compiler settings where you can mention the settings as strict null checks as true. I will show you these all things once we enter into the application development practices. So once you've entered into the Angular or React application development, there you will definitely going to understand this. Okay, because there you will find out the tsconfig file for your simple understanding. I would like to open up okay, this is open that folder Angular application so that you will see how the tsconfig file will be there. Angular 23. What are the files? So this was an Angular application for the batch 23 I created. So if you see, this is an Angular setup. In that setup, you will have a separate file called tsconfig.json. In that file, you have these are all options. You need not to write these options by your own. Okay. Anyways, I will show you how to create this kind of configuration file in the TypeScript environment, but we generally don't do that. But still, for your understanding, I am showing you what all the possible things. So here, null checks. So control F, null. There is no null check here. Okay. So that particular null check entry itself not there. But if you see compiler options, module is ES 2022, target is ES 2022. Here it was ES5. No implicit any is false. Implicit any, let us see, ENY. That is also removed because even for the default application standards, we use generally any sometimes. So that got removed by default. But yes, if you really want, you can happily enjoy that. But tsconfig, yeah, if you really want, you can happily put it. But you can avoid that also. In the same way, strict null checks is true is also removed by Angular applications. Hmm? Okay. Fine. Let's go to the next aspect. The next aspect is, what is that? Let us see, summary. Okay. This is about basic TypeScript approach. Basic TypeScript, whatever you definitely need in the TypeScript is, these are the features you definitely need in the TypeScript. Apart from that, what are the other things you definitely need to know in the TypeScript is class. What is that? Class. Yes. So what is a class and why do we need these kind of classes? First of all, let us see this. I'll close out. Yeah. Here we are going for some other point. Guys, carefully observe this. Basic JavaScript is basically functional programming. It follows functional programming. Okay. Even some kind of object things are there, but we don't call it as object oriented. We call it as object based. Okay. But enterprise level application, that means banking applications, all these things need a very strict, very strict object orientation. So directly JavaScript is not supporting object orientation. Yes, even till date JavaScript is having classes, but they don't want to use the classes. Okay, first point, that is not 100%. And the second thing is, some of the languages, I mean, I'm constantly watching the trends. Some of the architects are not interested in object-oriented mechanism for UI development. Yes, single page application development is needed for with object orientation, but some architects are not ready for that. Okay, still they are using functional programming, and now everyone goes. I mean, even in the React also, in the past we had class-based React components, but now we are no more having the class-based mechanism in React. We totally converted our code into function-based coding. Okay, we are not using class-based coding. Okay, so these are all happening, but Angular strictly follows class-based coding. Classes are necessary for it. Okay, depends upon your interest. You better think about how much depth you want to go into the classes, class learning, class object and all. But now it is my duty to tell you what exactly a class is and how we are going. So JavaScript is directly not following object orientation, but TypeScript is providing JavaScript plus types plus object orientation. So what is exactly TypeScript means? It's a combination of, it's an object orientation of JavaScript. Okay, because JavaScript is purely functional. Mostly in JavaScript we use only functions. We don't care much about classes, but still it's a very good feature. It's a very good way of writing the code, no question at all. Okay, writing the code in classes is always good, no doubt. Especially enterprise level applications like banking kind of things will go object oriented way. Yes, guys, but try to understand this. World is not only banking application. World is about other applications, like nowadays artificial intelligence applications have come. Games are there. Okay, gaming applications are there. E-commerce applications are there. Networking applications are there. Social media applications are there. These are all actually don't need such kind of object orientation. They are very good with functional also. Especially games are too much of functional programming. Okay. So, anyways, that's up to your personal choice. I just want to introduce you how classes are and why classes are. Point number one. What happens is, see here, let me go to the TypeScript class dot keys. Basically, function is used to group the logic. I repeat, function is used to group the logic. But classes are used to collect the common logic and its data. Common logic and its data. For example, we want to create a student information management system. What do you mean by student information management system? We want to create an application for a school. So generally, in a school, what do we have? What kind of things will be there in a school? There will be students, there will be teachers, there will be exams, there will be classes, there will be classes in the sense classes, not object oriented classes, normal classes. There will be sections, there will be what is it, employees, okay, there will be bus drivers, kind of people, people will be there. So to maintain this, whatever the student related activities are, that means adding a student, deleting a student, printing the TC of the student. These kind of activities are very much with respect to student, with respect to student. So all the details related to students, all the logic related to students will be written in a student class. How do I define class student? In that student class, what do we do is whatever the logic we need to maintain. For that, we write the logic as well as whatever the data we need to maintain, we maintain the data under properties. Okay. Okay. And whatever the logic is there, we'll maintain under the methods. Okay. So what do you mean by properties? What kind of properties will maintain? For example, first name is a property, which should be a string. Last name is a property, which should be a string. Roll number is a property, which should be a string. Class or else current class is a string. Okay. And what else? Roll number is a string. Yeah, possible. Date of birth is of type date. And what else? Yeah, PAN card. Maybe you need PAN card or Aadhaar card is necessary, right? Aadhaar card. Aadhaar number should be a string. So like this, these are all properties will be there for every student. So we'll maintain them under class properties. And whatever the methods we have, for example, like on the students, what kind of methods we'll have on the student? These kind of methods, of course, add student. So adding the student, obviously this is not a method of student class, but we had to define it, not function. Yeah, we write it like this, not as a function. See this, we don't define it as a function. We just define it as directly method name, open bracket, close bracket. Add student, get age of a particular student. For that, whatever the logic is there, we write it. So these are the logics which are necessary on a student. Student based, for student, whatever the logics are required, whatever the methods are required, they are all going to be coming under this particular place. Okay, so this kind of grouping is possible by a class. Okay. The same way, whatever the teacher related activities are there, like take attendance, what do you say, assign a class to the teacher or take exam, uh, upload the student marks. This kind of activities will be defined, and all those the logic behind that activity will be defined inside the teacher class. What about the exam class? Get the marks, upload the marks, print the answer sheets, sorry, print the certificates, print the mark sheets. Okay. Update the mark sheet or edit the marks, add the marks, delete the marks, all those things under exam class. I hope you are getting it right. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. Like this, we create different classes in which we can group the common data, in which we group the common data. Understood? That's how we work with the uh, work with what classes. Okay. So now I don't leave it like this. Just I would like to show you what happens when we create the logic like this. Let's say console.log. Here we add student. Here console.log. Here we calculate age. Here we calculate the age. So now what do we do is, as soon as a new student joins, for that student we create a new object, and that object will be stored in the database. So that newly creation object will be done by where OB1 or where student1 is equal to new student of console.log of std1. So now if you see, sorry, we don't need this one actually. So what will happen is, let us see. Let us run the code. PSC std1 dot ts. So sorry. TSC. What is the file name? Classes dot ts. And then if you run node space classes, it will show you a student object. Actually, it is showing empty object because we have not given any default values. Let me give the default values to it.
Yes, sir. It will work, sir.
Yeah, of course. Okay, here the default date is new date of. Okay, so now let us see. Now you got all the object with the current date and all. So let us create 2-3 different students. Student 1, student 2, and student 3. And we'll show them differently. Okay, let us see this. We got 3 students created over here. Of course, they're all created under the same time, but later time, if after 5 seconds, if I create it, then it will be a different. I'll show you this. This student, I will create set timeout of okay. Console.log. Okay. I'll tell you. So this first student will be created after 1 second. Second student will be created after 500. That means 0.5 seconds. Third student will be created after 3 seconds. Now you see what will be the output. After 500 milliseconds, you got this. Can you see the date of birth, what it is giving there? That means I want to prove something like these three are different objects. They are not of the same objects. So all the first student details will be stored in this object. Second student, as soon as a new student comes, second student object will be stored here. Third student object will be stored there. Like that, you will be managing this all. Clear? Okay. Yeah. So this is how it works. This is how we have to use all these things. How to create an object? This is called as instance. This std1 is called as instance. Okay. So apart from that, there is one simple, not simple topic, very important topic that is called as decorators. That is called as decorators and inheritance and inheritance basically. These two I will be discussing along with the Angular. Okay. So tomorrow I would like to take the class for Angular students. I am starting tomorrow the Angular class without fail. Day after tomorrow, I will take, not on Saturday, from on Monday, I will take the class on React. So I'm planning in such a way that alternate days, I would like to take up your classes so that you will have one day class and another day is your practice. Okay. I'm trying to assign a faculty for that. Okay. So practice time also, I am trying to assign one faculty to explain you some practical examples so that you will not be wasted. Even React also, I would like to assign a faculty where they will take the more examples for your better understanding. Are you getting me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, only for your practice because without practice, whatever the doubts you have, something is cracking here. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can ask in that particular practical session. Okay, basic doubts, if you have, they will be cleared anyways. If you have bigger doubts, anyways, after one day, I will be available to you. On that day also, you can ask me. So this practice gave me good results. Let me see how much you can able to do. Okay. That's it, guys. That's it for basics. Tomorrow we are going to take the class on Angular. Okay, that's the first class we are going to take, and React will be started from Monday. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will be for React students, and what is that? Tuesday,
Thursday.
Thursday, and Saturday for Angular students. Okay. Okay, that's it, guys. That's it for the day. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, the angry people.
Yeah.
Okay.